Hello everyone and welcome to our group project titled Profiles of a Diverse Learner. In this presentation, we will show how we as a group took the lesson plan titled Mission to Mars and adapted it to meet the needs of three students, John, Crystal, and Xiaowei. We will present adaptations to curriculum content, teaching methods, and teaching resources. Here is a quick overview of the lesson plan the teacher has been assigned to give. In the lesson plan, the students are to review the basic needs of all living things and determine how these needs apply to crew members in a spacecraft and on the surface of a foreign planet. They are also to determine some of the constraints of space travel and how these affect living organisms. They then design a habitat for either a spacecraft to support a travel trip to Mars or to reside on the surface of Mars. The method for the lesson plan involves lecture, group discussion, group experimentation, and a written assessment. Our first student profile is John. As outlined in iLearn, John consistently forgets to write down assignments and waits until the last week or even the night before to start projects. He also spends insufficient time studying and does not have very good study skills. John is a very likable boy and has very good friends. Some other things about John include that he has developed some social anxiety and test anxiety that interfere with his ability to focus in class and study effectively. He admits that he experiences anxiety during the week before tests, which increases to the point of disturbing his sleep the night before. His anxiety is associated with physical symptoms such as sweating palms and a racing heart and cognitive distortions, including catastrophizing. For curriculum adaptations for John, the only thing we would change in the lesson plan is the format of assessment. Bloom's taxonomy can be used to formulate guiding questions to help John prepare himself for the assessment. This will help with his anxiety. As far as adapting teaching methods goes, the introduction and instruction can be complemented with a modeling approach to help John. By demonstrating a finished presentation, the teacher can help John to focus and not feel overwhelmed as he works with his group. Increasing student-teacher interaction by asking questions will help John be focused for the duration of the 10-minute introduction. For the actual group project, ensuring that the instructions are simplified and the rubric is straightforward will help ensure John can understand what is expected of him. Our next student profile is Crystal. As stated in iLearn, Crystal is a secondary student with an intellectual disability. She has Down syndrome. She attended elementary school with her peers, even though she did not always learn the same things they were learning. As Crystal moved to middle school, she participated with peers in co-taught science and social studies classes. She received some of her reading and math instruction in a special education classroom. For curriculum content adaptations for Crystal, we thought that when introducing what plants need to survive, the teacher could have handouts with pictures and words that students could hold up. When the teacher would ask for responses, she could have students hold up the cards that apply. The teacher may emphasize the core knowledge that Crystal needs to understand as being what living organisms need to survive. Another approach to creating the habitat could also be to use modeling clay to work with their hands. Crystal could help the group by helping to build walls and labeling the things that an astronaut needs to survive. For the written assignment, Crystal could work with a paraprofessional or the teacher and talk about why they would put certain things in their design. When explaining what a critical design review is, the teacher can check for understanding by asking students to turn and share with each other what they think it means and their understanding of the project. This way, Crystal can verbally share what she knows about the assignment and the partner can add to her understanding. Our third student profile is Xiaowei. As mentioned in iLearned, Xiaowei's parents moved to the United States from China when he was about 4 years old. At this age, he was still in the process of acquiring Mandarin Chinese, his first language. His parents are actively involved in the process of learning English. Because they thought it would be better for Xiaowei to hear only English, they did not continue speaking Mandarin to Xiaowei. Instead, Xiaowei's parents communicated with him in limited English, a language combining Mandarin and English without traditional grammar rules. As a result, Xiaowei has not developed proficiency in either Mandarin or English. His classroom teacher reports that he prefers multiple-choice reading comprehension questions to short answer questions because he can guess with the multiple-choice format. Teachers in the past also believed that with scaffolding, Xiaowei could do a better job on his assignments. Such scaffolding, for example, could include repeating the same instruction items to him more than once in order to increase understanding. For curriculum content adaptations for Xiaowei, we thought that when doing the written assignment, Xiaowei could use words and pictures to explain to his group or to the teacher what he is learning. Another example is to expand Xiaowei's vocabulary. This is critical in his opportunity to learn English. This is exemplified from Westwood's book, in which he states that this is extremely important for English language learners. When giving feedback to Xiaowei, it will be critical to help him self-evaluate. The teacher can ask him how he feels about what he has contributed to his group, and if he feels that he is capable of more, or if he needs additional help with vocabulary. Xiaowei could also be provided with multiple representations by the teacher as the instruction is being explained by videos, pictures, or one-on-one interaction to be sure that he is able to participate with his group. Also, since Xiaowei enjoys the social aspects of school, group work may be a very good motivator for him to succeed. Pairing him in a smaller group of 2 or 3 to do their project could be very effective. For adapting teacher resources, many aspects of this lesson did incorporate helpful resources to maximize the understanding of students with diverse needs. Using multiple representations is one way of getting through to a variety of students with different learning preferences and needs, and in the lessons, pictures and images are used depicting plants and people in the discussion of adaptability to environment. And physical plants can be used as well, such as potted plants or plants visible outside the window. Several options are made available for the design of the group's astronaut environments, such as drawing on paper or using computer drawing and imaging programs, which can accommodate students with physical difficulties drawing on paper by using computers, or help those less comfortable with computers by drawing on paper. In these parts of the lesson and later parts dealing with living environments and the challenges they present, hands-on resources such as models or manipulatives like clay can help with students interested in more hands-on approach for greater comprehension. Additionally, it would be beneficial in all cases to make lesson objectives and instructions clear and concise, given both verbally and written on the board or paper. This repetition would be useful to each of the students' profiles, and the written portion may be especially helpful to John to help keep him focused on the objectives and help Xiaowei as he may not understand extensive spoken instruction alone. All instruction on the board or on the paper should be neat, organized, and legible. Papers given to students struggling with vocabulary such as Crystal and Xiaowei should simplify complex terms and make adjustments that allow any written responses to either be shortened or delivered. And that is the end of our project, where we studied 3 diverse learners, Crystal, Xiaowei, and John, and made curriculum and teaching method adaptations to help them succeed in the classroom. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.